A very good morning, dear students. Welcome to e-learning classes of Sacred Hearts. Dear students, in the previous lecture, we have completed our 11th chapter that was Marketing Management. Today, in our lecture of Business Studies, we are going to start the last chapter of Business Studies, that is chapter number 12, Consumer Protection. So dear students, in this chapter we are going to discuss about the consumer protection, consumer rights, consumer responsibilities and the different agencies where the case can be filed in case of any fraud. So dear students, let us start about the concept of consumer protection. So the very first question must arise in our mind, that is, what is the consumer protection? Dear students, the consumer protection refers to protecting the interest of consumer. Consumers के interest को protect करना, shield करना, that is known as the consumer protection. Now another question must arise that why there was a requirement of consumer protection. So according to the analysis of marketing management, it have been found out that the consumer is the kingpin of the market. That means the consumer is the king of the market. But a lot of business organizations are adopting such activities which are exploiting the right of the king, that is the consumer. So to protect the interest of the consumer, the concept of consumer protection came into the existence. Now, the next topic of the lecture is the importance of consumer protection. Dear students, we are going to discuss about the importance of consumer protection from the two point of view. The very first point of view is from the consumer's point of view and the second one from the business point of view. It means that consumer protection is important for consumer as well as for the producers or the businessmen. Now let us discuss one by one how it is important for consumer. The very first, that is the consumer ignorance. If we talk about the situation of consumer, then most of the consumers are ignorant about their rights, their responsibilities and the remedies available to them. बहुत से consumers ऐसे हैं जिनको अपनी rights नहीं पता हैं, responsibilities नहीं पता हैं and क्या further remedies हो सकती हैं, they don't know about them. It spread about the awareness to the consumer. जो कंज्यूमर प्रोटेक्शन है वो क्या करता है, कंज्यूमर्स के बीच में क्या करता है, अवेयरनेस स्प्रेड करता है, सो दैट दे कैन बी अवेयर अबाउट देयर राइट्स, देयर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी एंड अबाउट द डिफरेंट रिड्रेसल एजेंसीज वेयर दे कैन प्रोटेक्ट देयर इंटरेस्ट. The second one, that is unorganized consumers. If we talk about especially about the developing countries in which we are also lying, that means India. So in the developing countries, the consumers are not organized. A lot of consumers are there, but the consumers are scattered, and there are very few consumer organization. The first thing, the consumers are not organized, and the second thing, consumer organizations भी comparatively बहुत कम हमारी country में क्या है, available हैं. So to protect the interest of the consumer, government have taken the initiative in the concept of consumer protection. तो government ने step लिया है consumer को protect करने के लिए कंज्यूमर प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट को इम्प्लीमेंट करके. नाउ द नेक्स्ट वन, दैट इज द वाइड स्प्रेड एक्सप्लॉयटेशन ऑफ कंज्यूमर. Although nowadays consumers are just becoming aware, consumer is the king of the market, but still a lot of exploitation activities have been executed by the businessman. They are using many of the unfair trade practices such as cheat, exploitation, such as adulteration and so on, and all these are the activities of the consumer exploitation. तो consumer को इन सारे exploitation से बचाने के लिए consumer protection concept को introduce किया है. These all are the importance from the consumer point of view, in which we have discussed about consumer ignorance, unorganized consumer, and last, that is the widespread exploitation of consumer. Now we are going to discuss how the consumer protection is important from the businessman point of view. The very first, that is the long term interest of business. If a business want to exist in the market for a very long period of time, it must make one thing, and that is the satisfaction of the consumer. And if you are cheating your customers, if you are exploiting their interest, then consumer can never be the satisfied one, and you can never stand in the market for a very long period of time. So if you want to stay in the market for a very long period of time, you have to do the consumer protection. The second one, businessman uses resources of society. If we talk about the businessman, then the business is established in the society. It used to sell out the goods in the society. It used to take the resources, consume the resources of the society. And what is this? What is there? The businessmen are merely the trustee of resources. That means they are using the resources of the society. So it is their responsibility. In return, they must be good for the consumer. They must be beneficial for the consumers. Next, that is the social responsibilities, and in the social responsibility we have discussed about this concept. In the previous class we have read about the social responsibilities. So it is the social obligation of the businessman towards the one group, major group, that is the customer, to do all the truthful and fair activities. The next one, that is the moral or the ethical justification. If we talk about the moral or the ethical justification, then all the moral values or all the moral practices adds glory to the businessman. That means a businessman who is executing the ethics, who is going through the moral values, who is adopting the moral value, उस particular businessman की जो reputation है market में वो बहुत high होती है. In today's environment, business without ethical value is not more than a criminal activity. Just see, the very big statement is here. If any of the businessman is there and the businessman is not following the ethical conducts, is not doing the conduct in the ethical conduct, then it is equivalent to the criminal activity, and no civil society will tolerate or bear up this. So for the ethical and the moral justification as well, it is necessary for the businessman to execute or to adopt the concept of consumer protection. Now the last one, that is the government intervention. If a businessman wants that the government must not interfere in its activities, then they must involve in the fair trade practices. If you will do the unfair trade practices, then government will be intervened, government will make interference in your work. And if the government will make interference, it will not only spoil your image in the market, but also the government intervention is always costly for the businessman. It can be in the terms of money, it can be in the terms of your reputation, and it can be in the terms of the ban and other activities. So all these are the importance of the consumer from the consumer point of view and producer point of view. Now the next topic, that is the legal protection to the consumers. And in this, a lot of regulations have been implemented by the government, but one of the most important regulation that have been implemented, that was a milestone, that is a milestone in the concept of consumer protection, is the Consumer Protection Act 1986. If we talk about this act, then it was the act that was initially established or created in 1986, but it came into the force from 1st July 1987. So this can be asked in the 1 marks, from when the Consumer Protection Act 1986 came into the existence. So the answer is 1st July 1987. Now the main feature of this act, why we are saying that this act is very important. So some of the major features are there that will show the importance of the act. The first one, this act has provided various rights and responsibility to the consumer. So if we talk about this is the right of consumer, this is the responsibility of the consumer, ये rights और responsibilities कहाँ से आए बेटा? This is from the Consumer Protection Act 1986. See the second point, it provides safeguard to customers against the defective goods. That means it provides safety to the consumer, whether if we talk about the defective good, if we talk about the deficient services, unfair trade practices, and other form of exploitation. From any type of exploitation, it used to provide safeguard to the consumers. Next and the last one, the act has provided 3-tier redressal agencies where consumer can file complaints. If any fraud activities happen with you, then you can file case against that particular organization or the seller, and these are the district forum, commission, and national state commission and national commission. So this is about the Legal Protection Act, Consumer Protection Act 1986. Now whatever the three redressal agencies were there, that we are going to study in deep, and this is the next topic of ours, that is the redressal agencies under the Consumer Protection Act 1986 and their jurisdiction. कंज्यूमर प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट के अंदर क्या हमारी redressal agencies हैं और उनका jurisdiction क्या है, this is the next topic. If we talk about the redressal agency, then there are three tier redressal agencies. That means on the three level mechanism or the machinery it is working. The very first one, that is the district forum. So dear students, if we talk about the district forum, then district forum consists of a president and two members. So इसका जो constituents है, जो उसका structure है, उसमें क्या होता है, there is one president and two other members इसके constituents elements होते हैं. And next point, the president can be a retired or working judge of the district court. अब जो president है उसके लिए condition क्या है, that particular person either the working or the retired judge of the district court. And all of them, all the three are appointed by the state government. कौन appoint करता है इसको, state government appoint करती है. Next, the complaints for the goods or services worth rupees 20 lakh or less can be filed in this agency. If you are being cheated by an organization, by a particular seller, and the price of your product is less than 20 lakh, in that condition you can go for the district forum. See the next point, the agency sends the goods for testing in the laboratory if required. ये वाला जो पॉइंट है बेटा, ये all the three टायर रेड्रेसल में कॉमन रहेगा. जो एजेंसी है वो गुड्स को लेबोरेटरी टेस्टिंग के लिए भेजती है अगर इसकी रिक्वायरमेंट होती है, एंड यूज टू गिव द डिसीजन ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ फैक्ट्स एंड लेबोरेटरी रिपोर्ट्स. दिस पॉइंट विल बी कॉमन इन द डिस्ट्रिक्ट फोरम, common in the state commission, and common in the national commission as well. So this point will not repeated again and again. And the last point, if the aggrieved party is not satisfied by the jurisdiction of the district forum, then they can apply against the judgment in the state commission within 30 days. If the particular party who have applied for the who has filed the case, उसको लगता है कि भाई हम satisfied नहीं है judgment से, then they can go in the next level, that is the state commission, within the 30 days of judgment by the district court. The next one, that is the state commission. If we talk about the state commission, then it consists of a president and at least two other members. इसका भी जो out structure है उसमें एक president है and there are two other members. The president must be the retired or working judge of the high court. यहाँ पे जो judge है, जो particular president है, वो working या retired judge होना चाहिए. कहाँ से? high court से. They all are appointed by the state government. इनको कौन अपॉइंट करता है बेटा? स्टेट गवर्नमेंट करती. नेक्स्ट, द कंप्लेंट्स ऑफ गुड्स वर्थ मोर देन 20 लाख और लेस देन 1 करोड़. ठीक है, 20 लाख रुपीज़ से ज़्यादा एंड 1 करोड़ रुपीज़ से कम वाले जितने भी केसेस हैं जिनके गुड्स के और सर्विसेज के प्राइस हैं, दे विल बी फाइल्ड इन द स्टेट कमीशन. एंड द लास्ट वन, in case the aggrieved party is not satisfied, अगर particular party satisfied नहीं है, then it can file the case in the next level, that is the national commission, but within the 30 days. And now the last one, that is the national commission. What is the structure of this? The national commission consists of a president, that means one president, and 4 members, और जो 4 other members plus 1 president, and 1 woman must be there out of the 4 members. तो जो आपके 4 members हैं उनमें से एक कौन होनी चाहिए बेटा? women होनी चाहिए. नेक्स्ट, they all are appointed by the central government. इनको कौन अपॉइंट करता है? सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट अपॉइंट करती है. आगे देखिए, द कंप्लेंट कैन बी फाइल्ड इन नेशनल कमीशन इफ़ द वैल्यू ऑफ द गुड एक्सीड रुपीज़ 1 करोड़. अगर आपकी जो गुड है जो आपने परचेज किया है उसकी अमाउंट मोर देन 1 करोड़ है, तो आप डायरेक्टली अपनी कंप्लेंट कहाँ पे मेंशन कर सकते हैं? दैट इज़ इन द नेशनल कमीशन. एंड इफ़ द एग्रीगेव्ड पार्टी, अगर यहाँ पर भी आपको लग रहा है कि नहीं भाई आपके साथ जजमेंट सही नहीं हुआ है, आपका जो जुरिडिक्शन जो दिया है, जो जजमेंट दिया है, दैट इज़ नॉट फेयर, इन दैट कंडीशन यू कैन गो टू द सुप्रीम कोर्ट इन अगेंस्ट ऑफ दैट विद इन द 30 डेज, जब भी आपको डिसीजन दिया है नेशनल कमीशन ने, उसके विद इन 30 डेज आप अपनी जो केस है उसको अगेन फाइल कर सकते हो, लेकिन कहाँ? सुप्रीम कोर्ट में। ठीक है, सो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट टुडेज लेक्चर। टुडे व्हाट वी हैव डिस्कस बेटा, वी हैव डिस्कस अबाउट द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ कंज्यूमर प्रोटेक्शन. Thereafter, we have discussed about the importance of consumer protection for the consumer and for the producer. Thereafter, next point, that is the legal protection to consumers, in which we have discussed about the Consumer Protection Act 1986. And the last that we have discussed today, that is the redressal agencies under the Consumer Protection Act 1986 and their jurisdiction. This is all about today. Lots of love and God bless.